you talking? Whatever.
We are back on the Morning Brew, and we got our friends Zach, Bobby, and Carlos in this morning. Carlos from Tractor, and Bobby brought in these skateboards. These are very cool, and these artists have been shown at Tractor. And so, well, they're going to show. They're going to be showing at Tractor.
We're going to premiere these decks at Tractor Brewing on Saturday, May 23rd, 6 p.m. to midnight show. And a lot of these decks are by some great artists. They show across the country in the fine art world. And Kamagraph, our company, has been showing their works on these great decks. So it's been a lot of fun.
I dig it. So, how do you get the work on there? I mean, this isn't painted on. These aren't painted on. Some of them are, right?
Some of them are limited editions, and they're collector's editions. So you can only buy 5 of these hand-painted decks by these artists.
Yeah.
But these are done by a distribution company, so we do a lot of digital transfer onto the decks.
Cool.
We sell these decks at Kamagraph.com for $65. And it's a great way you can skate on them for $65 and scratch them up, or you can hang them and use them as art. But
are these like Santa Cruz boards or something like that? Are these like a special kind of board, or are these?
Well, when we were kids, we would just buy a deck, and it was one size fits all type of thing.
And it was all about the trucks, man.
Exactly, it was all about the trucks. But these decks are all different sizes. We have 7.75s, 8s, 8.25s, and 8.5s. So it just depends. We're going to release a longboard, a large deck in the fall. But yeah, these are all different decks.
Cool. And then we have our buddy Zach Freeman on, and Zach and I were catching up during the break here. This is great fun, because Zach is a beatboxer, amongst a million other things. And Zach, you didn't bring the box today, but you do the coolest thing with this box. If you guys haven't seen this, I want to have Zach back on, just so we can have him do this, because he's got this cool beatbox box, I guess. It's got a name.
It's a loop station. I use the Electrics repeater, and it's a loop station that was made by Electrics back in early 2000. They went out of business, and now the only place that I can buy the looper that I use is on eBay, which is it's kind of sad, because that means that, like, if I want to keep performing, I have to go look for this antique.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what I use, and basically, in case you do or don't know what looping is, it's a sampler grabs a piece of sound, a looper grabs a piece of sound and sends it in a circle. So that means I can go hit record, and that'll keep on playing. And then I can sing a bass line over that and sing a melody over that.
And the amazing thing when you hear Zach do this live is that he builds these songs that are his own beatboxes and his own everything. And it is this layered, beautiful thing. And everyone is different because you do it all live.
Yeah.
You have some of it on tape, right?
Yeah. You can find my music on iTunes or find me on Facebook, and I'll just send you the track. But twomanproductions.com is the place that you're going to find the majority of my music, because that's the company that produced me. And Two Man is a local production company, Mike Adamio and Matt Lowe, and they've worked with like everybody and their mama.
That's crazy. No, I haven't, but I'm one of the few in a group of friends that they've been very, very kind to. I really appreciate what they do for Albuquerque.
Right, they're huge supporters of the music scene and the art scene in town, just so you guys are tracking.
Yeah, they push it all along.
Right, absolutely. Well, how did you get started doing that, Zach? I mean, that was the thing that, like, I got to be honest, I've always thought, like, I need to get that same looper and just like go somewhere where nobody's seen it, and then like act like I invented it.
Like Las Cruces. Go to Cruces.
Just go to Las Lunas and just start performing at the bars, and like, I just invented this thing, right?
Yeah, no, I did like some 10 odd years in the a cappella scene, starting in Denver, like 96 till probably like 2006. I was performing with a cappella groups in Denver, and the last one that I was in was 2012. I was with a group called Urban Harmony, who's off doing the Urban Method. I'm sorry, and they're off doing great things right now. And I was with them for a couple months, but I started out as a vocal percussionist, because a cappella doesn't want to say beatboxer sometimes.
No.
And I did that with a group called Graffiti Tribe for like 5 years on the road. And then I started working with an acid jazz band, and then a punk ska hip hop band called Kid Plastic. And then after one of my favorite bands that I was in ended because it was a band.
And they have a life cycle.
Yeah, right. And I was like, you know what, I ain't playing that no more. And so I started looking into live looping, and I asked a guy at Guitar Center, I was like, look, I want to be able to record myself and hit play and record and do it live. And he was like, guess what? There's this thing called the electric repeater. I was like, that's awesome. And he's like, it's not on the market yet. And I was like, why are you telling me this? But as soon as it came out like a year later, I went and bought one. And then that's how I started performing.
That's very cool. And we need to, check out his Facebook page, his website, because it's just the coolest thing. And you're going to be beatboxing for us in a minute.
Yes, sir.
Do a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Yes. And Bobby, how did you get started doing the art on decks, on skateboard decks? I mean, that's a cool thing.
Yeah, I've been curating as an art dealer for about 15 years, based in Santa Fe. And A9 Herndon is one of the artists that released some of these decks. And he's been asking me, him and I started skateboarding again about 2 years ago.
It's much harder when you're older, isn't it?
It really is.
I went out with a friend the other day and just basically fell off the board.
Yeah, when we fall, we have these 10-year-olds that ollie over us, you know. But he was saying, let's start a skateboard company, let's do this. And I kept saying no for a while, and I kind of asked my buddy David Santiago, who's one of the artists, if he would be interested in doing this, and he said yes. He was super pumped about it. So I called A9 Herndon back. He's in Guadalajara, Mexico. And I said, let's do the skateboard company. And we needed a digital media guy, so we contacted Patrick Iverson. He's the best in the state. And the three of us went ahead and did it. And it just became super successful. And
you guys are the only ones I know of locally that are doing local art on decks.
Right, and we started to bridge out to more of an international audience. We actually have our decks in Paris and Mexico City right now.
Very cool.
Frank Gonzalez is another one of our artists that just does amazing works. He's pretty well known in the fine art world, and he wanted to do a deck, so we have his deck as well.
Very cool, and I know there's a couple of these decks, I'm looking at these, and some of the artwork looks really familiar. I think from maybe the tractor cans.
Yeah, David's there, and there it is. David Santiago is our exclusive can artist at Tractor. Does a lot of artwork for us, and then also just brings a good bevy of people around, either personally or otherwise. But yeah, he's part of the show, but there's going to be 12 community artists as part of the show as well. Bobby was kind enough to donate 12 blank decks to community artists, so folks that you see paint at Tractor all the time are taking a paintbrush or a wood burning tool or something to a deck, and they're going to hang as part of the show too. So
very cool.
It's going to be crazy.
What time is Zach going to be performing on Saturday?
Probably,
Saturday, right?
yeah. It's Saturday at 6 o'clock.
There's multiple tractors now. Which
right,
one?
it's at Tractor Wells Park.
The one on 4th
Street. Yeah. There's going to be a live skate demo starting at 5:30.
5:30. We have Del Kerfman, who's our pro skater. The guy's amazing. Come see him.
Yeah.
Very cool. We need to bring him on the show.
Let's
do some ollies, do some tricks next week. Can we make it?
Yes, I'll beatbox. He can ollie over you, and then
he can ollie over me.
I'll lay down
too. Fall off the board.
But Zach will go on around 6:30 probably. 6:30 or 7. The Rhythms and Burke Soul to follow. So it's 3 bands. It's all free. Food trucks, beer, and boards. Excellent.
Can you take us out with a beatbox?
Yes, sir.
That'd be excellent. Can we do a thing? Yeah, come on over here. We can certainly do a quick beatbox. Yeah. Because this is amazing. How did you learn to do this quickly?
The looping thing?
No, the beatboxing.
Oh, beatboxing. Oh, this is like the most boring story in the world. My brother was like, I'm gonna rap. And then I was like, I guess that means I gotta go poof, poof, poof. And that's quite literally how it started.
Excellent. Well, take us out here to a break.